You know how I always say that the people on January 6th who stormed the Capitol were boat dads. What I mean by that is they had money. They were middle class. Again, one of the biggest lies the mainstream media has pulled on Americans is this idea that somehow Trump voters are all blue collar and working poor. BS, man. They were business owners. They took private jets to the Capitol on January 6th to do an insurrection. They stayed at 5-star Airbnbs and they, ate brunch. Give me a break. So we have a little bit more evidence to show that that is actually correct. And that is because a lot of the rioters who are now facing prison time are getting forgiveness for loans that they took out under the Paycheck Protection Program. Remember, the PPP program under COVID was to help small businesses. It disproportionately went to large businesses, but nevertheless, it went to business owners. And this is thanks to some reporting by ProPublica and the Daily Dot. So in a review of PPP data from ProPublica, the Daily Dot discovered many well-known Capitol insurrectionists have had their loans forgiven, some being absolved of seven, nearly of $1 million in funds. So 7 of them nearly were absolved $1 million in funds. ProPublica recently updated their database in accordance with newly released government data to reflect PPP loans that have been forgiven. Now, you might think, okay, cool, that sucks. Maybe, someone's, lumber supply store or whatever. No, it was also members of right-wing militias, okay? So the rioters who've had debts washed out include members of the anti-government militia, the 3%ers, the Proud Boys, and a West Virginia resident who attacked Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, the man who died the very next day. Oh, wow. So you mean anti-government militias got government funds to continue their anti-government activities? That's very cool, dude. Like, all we need is another loan, and my God, we're gonna tear the government down. And I guess that's what they did. That's what they did. You gotta wonder who paid for those private jets and those flights over to DC on January 6th. Let's take a little deep dive into who these people were. Who got those loans and whose loans are now being absolved. So we got Dominic Pezzola, known as Spazzo, all right? Was arrested on January 15th for obstruction and later charged with conspiracy. He received $12,502 for a home contracting business, D. Pezzola Flooring, forgiven in June 2021. Hey, Pezzola, Proud Boy, remains incarcerated, having been denied bail. How and when he was able to apply for forgiveness remains unclear. Then we got Russell Taylor, a Southern California resident indicted for conspiracy and carrying a deadly weapon prior to storming the Capitol. He received a PPP loan for a graphic design company, Fusion of Ideas, for, get this, almost $500,000. Oh, and that loan was forgiven in April. Oh, and also, Taylor is a member of the 3%ers, an anti-government militia group. It goes on and on. There's a guy who got $50,000 for a sandwich shop. Okay, finally. You remember the dude who put his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk? That guy's name is Richard Barnett, and he was indicted for obstruction and disorderly conduct after being photographed with his feet on Pelosi's desk. He received nearly $9,300 for his home contracting business, and that loan was forgiven in May. Now, the reporting goes on, you guys, but is there any more of an implosion of right-wing libertarian BS ideology than that, man? You got help to then overthrow the government? You are a clown caught in a hamster wheel inside of, a Chuck E. Cheese in a wood. You're ridiculous. I can't even.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.